Wow, Papa Zero here once again. I got another build for you. Wow, what is that all about, huh? Say no more. No, say some more, Papa Z. What's going on? This is the Shattered Shard Shield build. Come to life once again since 3.27. I know it's been one league already, but here we are again. This time as a Slayer. Last time, Elementalist. Why would I choose Elementalist instead of Slayer or vice versa? Why not a Chieftain? Great question. My assistant will answer all those questions and more at the end of this episode. All right, just kidding. By popular request, one person, I decided to make a Slayer. I was thinking about making it as an Elementalist once again, but I'm like, you know what? I would just copy and paste the same exact build that was already done last league. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm not going to do it to myself. All right, I'm going to come up with something new, something slightly better, hopefully. And you know what? I think it turned out pretty all right. With the Slayer Ascendancy, we get a ton of utility, ton of bonus-i, ton of good stuff. Bane of Legends with the more damage. We get to cool the enemy at 20% less or lower life, which is really good. We get the life leech, and we get the cannot be stunned or bleed while we're leeching. So I think Slayer has a lot of utility, a lot of potential, and is very good for this build, and that's why I chose it. Yeah, in some ways gear is actually kind of similar but not really to previous league. Of course, we're rocking the Monastery Bell once again. Of course, we have the Shatter Shard Shield, and we have full foul-born Skin of the Lords once again with the increased elemental and chaos resistance, full-born edge. So we can counteract the Amenity's Embrace downside, if you want to call it that. But that is where a majority of our damage is coming from. Don't fool yourself. Amenity's Embrace on this build is the king. I picked it up, I think, for like, I don't know, 50C, 60, like something absolutely ridiculous back in the beginning of the league, like the first few days. I know it's skyrocketed to like 6 or 7, 8 divines for a while. I don't know where it's at right now. I assume not that bad, but I sincerely haven't looked at the prices, so I got no idea. Sorry. Now, this build overall is not super expensive. Besides, you can see up on the screen right there, Progenesis Flask. I decided to treat I got inheritance from my late uncle, rest in peace. I had to treat myself, so I got myself Progenesis, which helps with the EHP, of course. Is it mandatory? Is it necessary? No, it is not. And matter of fact, I got some substitutes to show you here in a minute, here in two and a half seconds, as we are gonna go into the gear section. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's do it. All right, guys. So here we are in the gear section. Wow. What would have? Anyway, self-crafted helm, pretty fine. Life, regen, nice. I think this was like 1 or 2 divines. Life, regen, a little bit of fire resistances. Same thing with this one, 1 or 2 divines for that beautiful life. And ooh, hello, fire damage. Thank you very much. This was one of my last things that I upgraded. 50 chaos, very cheap, very easy. Here you could obviously put, I don't know, if you wanted or needed physical damage converted to fire damage, you could craft this yourself. You could have, you can even buy yourself, it's very tough, it's very costly, but you can get yourself a fractured mod. I think this one was like 1 divine, but if you want just the armor base, it's multiple divines, which is absolutely crazy. But if you're trying to get that fire damage, last minute decisions, I decided to pick up the Avatar of Fire. So we indeed, between these two right here, have 90% everything, whatever physical damage, whatever, converted to fire damage. We obviously want that because our Amenity's Embrace is what does all the damage, so we want to be overcapped, and we can penetrate up to 200% fire resistance. So that's why we have 90 from the tree, 20%, well, 15, so overall 105% physical damage converted to fire damage, because that is what the Shield of the Shatter spell does for us. Now, initially, I started this build out as a power well, just charge stacker in general, right? I was gonna get the maximum power charge. I was gonna get the badge of the Brotherhood. I was gonna get the Graven's secret cloth belt. Maybe even, oh, I don't know, surge binders. So I went down this path, but then after tweaking the build, playing around, testing this, testing that, I realized, you know what, that's just not for me. It's not gonna. And so ultimately, I just decided to go for the Arms Anguish, triple damage once every 5, I think 21%. So 1 every 5 hits, we do triple damage with Arms Anguish. We obviously have endurance charges, so we're quite tanky, physically speaking. We also picked up Fortitude. Now, mind you, between these three, I mean, there was like 3 divines and 9 divines, so 12 divines total. But you can always just get first to strike, last to fall. If you're thinking about going slightly different version with maybe Resolute Technique, saving yourself a point instead of going for the pain attunement version where we're a low life. But let's say you didn't want to go low life, you want the full 7k HP, for example, you could go for Resolute Techniques. Now, these are also going to be much cheaper. I think I got lucky with this one. This was just 1 divine. I don't know how much they are, but in like the perfect colors, which for me was like 3 green and 3 red, it was like 60 divines, something absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, no, thank you. If that was going to be the case, even for just really bad colors, I would have just stuck to Resolute Technique versions because that saves you a point on the tree. Then you can get something like this. So if you get hit pretty quickly, you gain adrenaline, which is extra damage. You can even self-proc it, obviously. And so that would have been a fine way to go as well. Another thing you can do is War of Attrition. Now, this is not super good, but I think these were like 20 chaos total or something dumb. But if you're to be super tanky, you're going to deal with the tough boss. You're just going to stand there, hit him in the face. I mean, this would obviously, kind of like, this would ramp up your damage. So that's potentially something else to look at and try. So these are kind of like the budget versions of this build. Now, another thing too is when I'm doing easier content or I'm just trying to fly through the map, I use the Flame Golem for extra AoE and damage. Right now I'm running, the harder content where I'm doing Delirium, and I'm running the tier 16.5s, so I am using the Stone Golem for that extra regeneration. It just helps just a tiny bit. It's not the greatest, but just another thing to kind of. You can even potentially use the Lightning Golem for increased attack speed for more damage, because again, the more quicker we attack, the more damage we do. The more we proc our Shatter Shard. So every time I say that, it just makes me laugh. Anyway. You can also be greedy, and initially when I was leveling up, I was using 6 of these, and the AoE was off the charts. It was absolutely amazing, awesome. I since just gone to 2 because I wanted the extra defensive layers, extra fire resistance. You can even do melding of the flesh if you really wanted to. Now again, going back to the budget versions, before I got my Progenesis, before I got Orion's End, this just helps with the clear. This is what causes all the huge explosions. It's super awesome. I would definitely recommend it. It's not that expensive, this league, but if you didn't want to get it, or if you wanted just more attack speed, maybe focus on bossing, you could just get yourself Silver Flask for extra speed, or Sulfur Flask for that life recovery, for that extra damage. So those are these two is what would replace these two right here. Oh yeah, something you might have noticed on my POB, I have the tattoo of a little Firewalker on just 4 nodes. But again, right, they cost a pretty penny. So if you get some better gear that has a ton of fire resistance everywhere, then you don't really need as many. I just needed 4. I think that was just the bare minimum to reach that 200 fire resistance threshold. Elegant Hubris, that gives you something nice. Like I got the fire resistance, endurance charge. I got we do lose this node right here, which is pretty nice, like the Fire Master or whatever, that grants 30% fizz damage as extra fire every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds or whatever. So that one's, I missed that, but I got a frenzy charge here on head, which is nice. I got a 80% physical damage, which is nice. Can't be mad. Now the nice thing about the having something like Eternal Resilience, gain endurance just every single time you've been hit, is Amnity's Embrace. You take fire damage when you use a scale. So sure enough, as soon as you use any skill, you start gaining brutal charges. So this is very nice, very easy way to get to those max charges. But yeah, I think that I covered basically everything I wanted to. I mean, I could talk about, any build for 14 and a half minutes just on one topic, but I don't want to make these videos 30 minutes long. So if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, feedback, quailback, I don't know what that is, please let me know in the comments. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on another beautiful video.